Angry Bears Fan Podcast 66. We got what three? And once this comes out, we got 3 days, 4 days till the draft. Caleb went on I forgot what that podcast is called. Fuck. It's gonna drive me crazy now. I'm gonna look real quick. Caleb. Well, I'm looking that up. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. The Pivot, that's what it's called. Um, did his thing. Honestly, again, you guys have been here with me through this roller coaster journey of getting over Justin Fields, but he was saying all the right things. One of my biggest qualms with Caleb was he wasn't talking at all, which I just don't like because you can only hide from the limelight for so long, and the spotlight is bright in Chicago. So I
Oh,
wanted to hear
absolutely.
what he had to say. Um, I still think he's got a little bit of diva in him, but so does every quarterback's got to kind of have that. So I'm trying not to hold him against him that much. But he said a lot of good things on the Pivot podcast. He's for sure going to be the number one pick. We're going to be doing our mock drafts here at some point soon. I didn't even humor doing one with them trading it because it just seemed pointless because that's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and on top of that, we don't know. So the league last year, on day one of draft night, they issued the tampering, discipline or whatever. But this year, we don't know what's going to happen with Atlanta. So they're being investigated for the tampering for Kirk Cousins. So we don't know if, say, they get booted to the back of the first round. I don't know if it's going to be that serious or not, but it's a quarterback and not a wide receiver or whatever the case may be. But if they want to make an example out of Atlanta and they do that, they the Bears are picking 8 instead of 9, and that's another huge, thing. If and I don't know how the league's going to do it. If the league decides they want to do a pick swap between Atlanta and Minnesota, that fucks the Bears draft plans up too because Minnesota jumps from 11 to 8 instead of picking at 11, and that could throw a wrench in the plans as well. So really, I mean, it's a mock draft. It is what it is. But we don't know what's going to happen with Atlanta if they're going to get a serious penalty or not. Like I said, it's different. Last year or a couple years ago, it was a wide receiver that people were. And then at Miami with tampering with Tom Brady when he had a year left on his contract,
Yeah.
they flat out lost their first round pick, and um, that was the Chase
Well,
Claypool.
usually they just take a pick, right? They're not gonna do.
They
They've never
I see.
done
I
like a
don't know.
swap
I don't
before,
know.
right?
I don't know. It all depends. It just depends on what the league's gonna do. Um, but like you said, Thursday, 7 p.m. As soon as 7 p.m. rolls around, um, the Bears' number one overall pick card will be handed in, and it'll read Caleb Williams. Anybody else out there who thinks that Caleb is not going to be the pick, I see these people like, oh, it's a smoke screen, blah, 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 blah. They just have to come to terms and accept the fact that it's over. Um, Caleb Williams is the only quarterback prospect they brought in for a top 30 visit. It's not going to happen.
The only
Caleb
team he
Williams is
visited,
the pick.
and
Um,
the only reason Caleb would go visit anybody else is if the Bears told them like, "Don't waste your time. We're picking you at one."
yeah, like
Um,
it's a guarantee. It's gonna happen. His camp reached out to Chicago, pretty much was like, hey, we need you guys to set him up for success. Blah 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 blah. Which makes me still think that they won't trade out a number 9 if one of those 3 wide receivers are there at 9, and they'll take a wide receiver number 9. I read somewhere, this is on Twitter. Somebody was like, "Oh, there's talk that the Bears, are going to load up on weapons, and if all the wide receivers are gone and Joe Walt's gone and blah 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 blah. They're gonna take Brock Bowers." And I was like, no, they're not. They like that would just make no sense. That would be the one draft pick that makes absolutely no sense.
I
Granted,
don't agree with you there because how is it any different than getting Roman Dunze? It's just a weapon. Like this is a different NFL. It's not like why like tight end is a weapon. Like the Chiefs don't go get a number one wide receiver because Travis Kelsey is essentially their number one wide receiver. So I don't agree that it doesn't make sense. I don't want to do. I don't want to do. I guess I don't know. I don't agree with you because you think they're going to get Roma Dunze, is what I'll say. I agree that it doesn't make sense in general to pick a wide receiver there. I have been harping that the whole time, unless it's Neighbors and Harrison, and they fall there. And like I said, those two guys, I understand they're just too good to pass up. I think Roma Dunze's right outside of that tier. Um, I think we could get somebody close to Roma Dunze, maybe if we want to trade back up into the second at some point. There's a lot. This is a wide receiver rich draft, and I just like after what we've done in the offseason, DJ Moore's proven himself. I just don't see. I don't know. I don't want to take Browers or Dunze. I do know that for whatever reason, there's whispers they really like a Dunze. He's going to be there, and I've all what I always say: where there's smoke, there's fire. It's not just a hypothetical that's been out there. Roma Dunze visited. Caleb and Roma Dunze have a little bit of relationship, I hear. So we'll see. I'm big team Joe Alt, but just like I was saying about Adunze, it's pretty much set in stone that Tennessee's not letting Joe Alt get past them.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe my hope, I guess, is somebody trades up. Maybe I think Tennessee's a trade down candidate. They got a quarterback. So they just got a new coach. So I'm assuming they're in the team building process. So they might fall back a few picks to like Oakland or Denver. So maybe that'll happen. They say Arizona or the Chargers might trade back as well. There's smoke that the Bears might trade up for Harrison Jr. I don't know. If it's next year's pick, I'm fine with it. If it's next year's second from Carolina to move up a spot and like some fifth or some shit, I guess I'm fine with it. If you guys really are just in love with Marvin Harrison Jr. or neighbors, um, then I guess I'll live with it. But I think we should go D end. I really like Joel, like I said, but he's not going to be there. I just don't think he's going to be there. But I do think Dallas Turner or Verse will be there. Um, and I think that is the smart move. But I don't know. I don't know. I think Poles wants to trade. So we'll see how that plays out. Like it's the quarterback dominoes have to fall, and I think we're going to be in a very favorable position because I think four are going in the top, maybe not five, but definitely like seven at some point. There's going to be four quarterbacks taken.
Well,
Maybe
Minnesota's going
six.
to trade up. That's just
Yes,
it's going to happen.
yeah,
Minnesota's going to trade up. They're going to get their quarterback. They're probably going to take JJ. Um, and let's see. I'm trying to think. Denver. Denver wants to trade up. You
bad.
know, like it's
Denver, Oakland are they're moving up, I think, or maybe they'll hold their cards and hope Penix falls to them. Um, unless they're like I said, they're in love with JJ McCarthy. But I don't think the Cardinals are going to trade back. I think they've got a lot of picks already. They don't really need a lot more. They've got a franchise quarterback or at least paid like a franchise quarterback. So I think they're going to stay there, take Harrison Jr.
yeah. They
and
need to build around. If they're going to stick with Kyler and they're going to pay Kyler,
they've got
they
like
need to
10
build.
draft picks this draft or some shit like that. They've
Yeah,
got a
they got a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, I think they have the most.
So
So
I would assume they're going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. At 4 or Malik Neighbors
yeah,
because I heard a lot of people saying that Malik Neighbors has jumped up on a lot of teams' boards. So I mean they have to take a weapon for Kyler Murray at some point.
yeah.
Um, and then you said Los Angeles, the Chargers, they're trade down candidates.
I
New
see
head
them
coach Jim
taking
Harbaugh.
11 and 23 to move back from 5. I really do. Um, they're in cap hell. They've already got the quarterback.
And
They've
realistically, Brock Bowers is probably there at 11 for them.
yeah,
And that's
again, yeah, probably more than likely. Um,
and at 23, they could probably grab a
yeah,
wide
and
receiver.
If Bowers isn't there, Dunze might be there. You never, like I said, you never know. So, and they just need a lot. They need young players. They need to get under the cap, so they can't really. They're not going to be able to do anything in free agency for years to come. Jim Harbaugh just showed up. There's tons of Michigan players in the draft. He just brought half
Blake
his
Corum,
staff.
they need a running back.
Corum, Roman Wilson, all a bunch of young defensive guys. I was just talking to somebody. I think I bet money that Sanders still and Corum end up on the Chargers. But I do think that the Vikings are going to be going up to 5 for 11 and 23, um, or maybe 6 if the Chargers end up taking a weapon. But they're moving up. They're getting JJ, like you said. Unless for whatever reason JJ is the third quarterback taken, or even the second. Hell, but I don't
No,
know. We'll see
I
how it
think
goes.
it falls Caleb, Jaden Daniels, Drake May,
That's what I have. That's what I guess too.
Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors, one of the two. If Arizona doesn't trade down, then like you said, I got Los Angeles trading out with Minnesota. Minnesota takes JJ. I forgot who's at 6.
Giants.
The Giants.
And I think they take
Ooh,
Neighbors. They take whoever Harrison or Neighbors, whoever's
yeah,
there. I mean,
yeah.
they keep saying quarterback, but they're really not in a position because it's
There's
like
no way.
it's like you take a quarterback. What is he? He's sitting on the bench behind Danny Dimes, who's going to have a bad year because they don't have any weapons. Like
You
they have
have,
to go.
yeah,
Yeah, they have to go wide receiver, and then if they suck, you just take a quarterback. Like I don't know if I'm them, I take Joe Milton or Spencer Rattler or somebody later, and you know what I mean. If
take a
hopefully he,
chance on a project later on in
yeah,
the draft, somebody
and
you could
hope he could.
develop.
Yeah, but they can't trade back. They can't take a quarterback.
No, no, they
Vikings
have
are
to
taking a
take.
quarterback. Who's at 7? Or Vikings are 7, right? No, Vikings
No,
are 8. Or
Tennessee's at
Titans,
7.
yeah. And they're going to
Titans are
go
at
Joel
7. Atlanta's at 8. Bears are at 9. Jets are at 10. Vikings are at 11. Denver's at
12.
12.
Yeah, Denver's 12. Yeah, I know that.
Vegas is at 13.
Yes, Vegas is 13.
So
Vegas is looking to move up. Vegas and I would bet big money that Vegas and Minnesota move up for sure.
there's a
Because
good possibility there could be 6 quarterbacks taken on the first round. That's ridiculous.
5 100% are going. Penix, I mean, it's only if you think Bo Nix, somebody might trade up late first and get Bo Nix, but Penix isn't making out of the first round. Neither is JJ McCarthy. So, yeah, they're not. None of them are making it past 12 or 13, where Vegas and the Broncos literally have to take a quarterback. They have nobody,
Yes.
so they
No,
have to
they
take
got
somebody. So if it's Bo Nix or anybody, they're probably like, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. If they have to take Bo Nix at 13, that'd be fucking devastating.
no, they'd probably at that point
Try
they'd
and trade back.
probably trade down
Yeah.
into
But
the
what
mid.
you can't risk then somebody trading up and then taking Bo Nix because then they're fucked. If they don't end up with Bo Nix, they're fucked. Like,
Yeah, but I just don't. Sean Payton's not one of those guys that's gonna reach.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I just he's smarter than that. At least I maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I think he's smarter than that. Um, and I don't see a team that's like, oh my god, I have to have Bo Nix. So realistically, low to mid 20s. If he decides to trade back, Bo Nix is definitely there.
yeah.
Um, and maybe there's a team like Pittsburgh or San Francisco or something that wants to offer up, a couple of picks for that number, 12 pick or whatever. And, and then we don't know because Brandon Ayuk is, saying there's going to be fireworks, first round of the draft, and he's looking to be traded. So maybe there's a draft day trade involving Brandon Ayuk. There's a couple of other guys too that I read somewhere, something about AJ Brown possibly.
Well, there was some whispers because they did just re-sign Devontae Smith,
Devontae.
and it's like, are you going to be paying Devontae, AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts? And they just re-signed one of their old linemen too to a nice big
Yeah.
deal. So it's like,
So I don't see how because they're paying both wide receivers over 25 mil a year.
and the quarterback
They're
over what 45? Like,
so there's got to be something there. I don't know. I don't know where AJ Brown would go. Um, but realistically, Justin Jefferson, we still don't know what's going on there.
no, I think Justin
Um,
Jefferson's safe because the Vikings are going to trade up and get a quarterback, and he'll
T.
be
Higgins.
yeah, T
We don't
Hig,
know
yeah,
what's
T
going
Higgins,
on with T. Higgins.
yeah.
Um,
We don't know what's going on with
there's
Sheen Rice, so the
he,
Chiefs may need a wide receiver. They might
uh,
go out and trade with somebody. I mean, he's at least getting suspended. Like,
a year or
you think the
two.
whole year?
Oh yeah,
What he just got a hit and run, right? I mean, what's the like he did
yes, but he did injure somebody in the process. And with the driving, what was he going like 110 miles an hour,
I don't know what the
120
speed.
or something
I
like
don't
that?
know the details. I know the only detail I know is 2 people were hurt, and he was seen leaving the scene with like what people said were drugs and guns. But it was just
Yeah,
I don't know if that's just like suburban people seeing a bunch of black dudes dressed ghetto carrying duffel bags, and they assumed. I don't know. It could have been his cleats and his game, like his. I don't know what
I
the
will
fuck it was.
be I will be surprised if he plays a game this season.
Yeah.
That's just my.
They're gonna need a wide receiver. We'll see. A lot of stuff's going down. It's so
Oh yeah,
weird. Every year we talk about it. The NFL offseason gets more and more like a Madden cycle. It was never like this for us growing up. We might get fucking 3 trades all summer. You know what I mean? Maybe one disgruntled player in offseason. Now there's 10 or 20 on top of 20, 30 trades, people getting cut. This is going to be fun. Um, and the Bears got 2 picks in the top 10, and I have faith in Poles. Like I said, I've gotten over the Justin Fields stuff. There are things I didn't like that Poles has done, but um, all
Well,
in
he's going
all,
to be the
like I
starter in
said,
Pittsburgh.
when you look at stuff on paper, it's just hard. Like we traded Bryce Young for Caleb Williams, Tyreek Stevenson, DJ Moore, Darnell Wright, like, and a second round pick. So it's like, and when you just look at that on paper, that's going to go down, 10 years, 15, 20 years now, like the greatest trade in the history of the NFL. Like if Caleb Williams is,
That it's going to be
if
up there
Caleb
with the
Williams
Herschel
is just
Walker
as
trade.
good as Trevor Lawrence, that's still the greatest trade ever. Like if he's just a 4K yard passer, borderline Pro Bowler, and that's still like the best trade ever. Like,
Well, it'll be second behind the Herschel Walker trade. The
yeah,
Herschel Walker trade
I guess, yeah.
created a dynasty in Dallas.
Yeah, but I don't
That's
know. That was more of like a culture coaching thing. I don't know. I think the NFL is different now. Where like I feel
that'll
like the
be
Cowboys were going to win with anybody.
that was like 6 picks and 4 players for Herschel Walker. Like
For
that's
running
just
back, that's crazy. Yeah, that was,
right.
yeah.
You see how much the game has changed dramatically. Like no player is getting that return, no matter who they are. It doesn't matter who you're not getting that return. Um, well, I don't know because it seems like the Bears trading that number 1 pick. It's kind of turning into that kind of thing because, like you said, you read off the players essentially that we got, and then we still have a 2025 second round pick from Carolina that's looking
That
like
could
it's
be
going to
anything,
be
or at least
a pretty decent pick, and it could turn into any player because Ryan Poles has shown that he is not afraid to pull the trigger on a trade for a second round pick, whether it be during the season or not. And yeah, he
yeah,
whiffed
that's
on the
for true.
first
He's traded a
Chase
second
Claypool.
both years,
The
so
yep, the Chase Claypool he whiffed on, but it seems like he hit a home run with the Montez Sweat trade. And you don't know what's going to happen, with maybe the Bears find themselves in a position to where come trade deadline next year, they're 1 player away. They need, 1 player away from, making this guy's going to take us over the top, and he trades that second round pick. I have absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. Even if he trades that second round pick, like you said earlier, in the deal with, the Chargers or whoever to move up to grab Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors or whatever, I don't have an issue with it because I have faith in Poles as well that he will make the right decision. If he does something, I feel like he has the best interest of the team at heart, not just his job.
I
And
don't know about
I
that,
think the
but
two go.
I
I
think
think the
it's
two
more of
go
his
hand in
job.
hand. Well, the two go
Yes,
hand
I
in
go
hand.
hand. That's what I would say. I think they go hand in hand. Luckily for him, most of the time, the best thing for his job is the best thing for his team. Um, Again, we've debated this and we've moved past it, but like I said, we'll see if moving on is the best thing for the team or not. I do 100%. I think it was the best thing for the job. With to be determined if it was the best thing for the team. I still am holding out faith for that, but I will, like I said, Caleb's going to be the Chicago Bears quarterback, so I'm gonna ride for him. I kind of take a backseat of being a hater. But unlike a lot of these other people, I was hating on him before he was going to take Justin's job. So we'll see. But he has won me over a little bit. I've heard him talk a little bit more. He was on the pivot. Those guys ask real questions. They don't let you BS that much either. And they were asking stuff we wanted to know. He showed his screensaver. It was 8 time. What said he wanted to be an 8-time Super Bowl champion, the number 1 pick in the draft. So he already hit those goals. And then some weird motivation. No, I won't say weird, but some motivational speeches. The Mike Tyson discipline one, some Kobe quotes. Fuck everybody. I like that mentality a little bit, but I'm ready to see him play though. They're saying he's Aaron Rodgers. We've been terrorized by Aaron Rodgers for a long time. As I watch him, that's who he more reminds me of than Patrick Mahomes. He reminds me of Aaron Rodgers. It's a lot of scrambling around to make plays down the field. Justin didn't do that. Mitch didn't do that. We've never had a quarterback who did that. So I want to see what he looks like out there, surrounded by competent NFL veteran. You know what I mean? Blue collar wide receivers, guys go out there and do their job. They're not divas. Um, and Swift, who I don't mind. It's whatever. But it's going to be a fun year. The Bears, I think, are the most betted on team to win the Super Bowl. I forgot what their odds were, but I'm guessing they just got really good odds. I mean, we're not going to win the Super Bowl next year, but
No,
it's just interesting to see. Hey, who knows though?
it should. It
Somebody on the
should
49ers
be
could get hurt.
on paper. it's a playoff roster. It should
Yes.
be.
If we don't make the playoffs, something went horribly wrong
Yes,
in multiple areas. I mean, outside
yes.
unless Caleb gets hurt, Bajan has to play the whole year. But outside of that, even like if Caleb plays the whole year,
Well, see, that's the even Bajent, right? And I'm not saying Bajent's he's serviceable, right? He went, he was 50% win percentage when he came in, and that, but when you have DJ Moore, when you have Keenan Allen, if Keenan Allen can stay healthy, that's huge for any young quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It's almost idiot proof to where any quarterback could step in and have a serviceable season with the offense that they have around that, especially with Shane Waldron, the way he designs his offenses with the running game, the short, the two tight ends, the short passing game, which Keenan Allen excels at. We already know that DJ Moore's the yak king. So I'm not going to sit here and say, if Caleb gets hurt week 1 and Tyson Bagent has to, come in, they're going to go to the playoffs. But I think it won't be, oh, fuck, we're fucked for the whole season kind of thing.
no, I don't think
If
that.
that
I
were to
just
happen.
think we probably missed the playoffs by a game if
Yeah,
that happened,
probably.
game or
Probably.
two.
Um, but yeah, I mean, this dude, we're less than a week away. I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah,
As soon as it comes on, I'm gonna be sitting there in front of my TV watching it. I I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it to be over. I'm ready for these OTAs to kick in. I'm ready for preseason. We got the Hall of
yeah.
Fame.
I want to see. I want to see Caleb out there throwing the ball. All the conjectures over, all the talking, and I just want the Bears to win some football games. Last year was disappointing. Like I said again, as much as I like Justin, I was disappointed in how he played. There was plays to be made out there. There was bad coaching. There's bad play. You know what I mean? There's blame to go around to everybody, but no more. Like I said, Eberflus is on the hot seat. He's getting fired if it doesn't work out. In reality, the OC and the DC are getting fired if it doesn't work out because we're getting a new head coach, and more than likely he's going to bring his own guys in. Um, and yeah, so I don't want to see that happen. That's the Bears curse. So I want to get out of that and get Eberflus an extension. We'll have a young quarterback on a rookie contract, and we'll be rolling. At least be pseudo contenders. Like I won't get ahead of myself and say Super Bowl, but I want to see us finish first or second in the NFC North, split with the Packers, split with the Lions like we've been doing, and fucking roll over the Vikings while they're down.
Do you have our mock drafts, or are you gonna put them in the video
I'm
after?
gonna put them in the video after. But yeah, we can go to that. Let me find mine real quick. Fuck. All right, I'll start off. My first one. This is no trades. Caleb Williams at one. Obviously, like I said, I'm not gonna. As much as I would like to mess around with the simulator and see, I will say every single mock draft I did, the Vikings offered 11-23 and like another first in like 3 seconds to move to the first pick. So, but Caleb Williams at one, and then no trades. I got Dallas Turner at 9. As much as I would like Joel to be there, I think he's getting picked. They just whatever for whatever reason, like they were saying, we were going to pick Darnell Wright. Everyone's saying Joel's going 9 or going 7 to the Titans. So I got Dallas Turner at 9 at 76. I think I traded back maybe one pick. I got Roman Wilson at 122. I got Brennan Rice, and then at 136, I got Theo Johnson, the tight end for Penn State. Um, I'm team get a young wide receiver to grow with Caleb, but I'm more of the along lines maybe go and get his old teammate Brennan Rice. You guys know I love Michigan. I like Roman Wilson a lot. I think there's that other white kid, Mikowski or I forgot his name.
No, it's McConkley.
McConkley. I think somebody like that. That's who I think the Bears. If the Bears, we get a later round, second, third round guy who's a team guy who blocks, who plays the slot, probably can play a little special teams. I think we got to get a little value instead of picking another potential diva who's gonna be complaining about getting 40 targets.
I don't know if he'll be a diva necessarily about it. Um, in mine, so I didn't know about the link that you sent me. I didn't get it until today, so I went on
Yeah.
PFF, and I'm poor, so I didn't pay the $24.99 to do a full 7 round mock. I just did 3 rounds, because that's the poor people free version. I did, of course, Caleb number 1, no trade. I went wide receiver. I went Roma Dunze number 9. And with 75, I took the edge rusher out of Clemson, Xavier Thomas. I think he's got a motor to him. I think that's
I
one
like
of the
him.
prospects that Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus kind of look for. So realistically, I took him because I just thought maybe he'd be a better fit. There were a couple of better options up on the board at the time, but I was just trying to think of, what would they do, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the other one that I just had I had a goofy trade with San Francisco. And I made some picks and stuff like that. But realistically, my draft, all my mock drafts kind of stay the same whether I trade back or not. It's quarterback, Caleb Williams one. Their second pick, I always, Keon Coleman, I think, was my second
Yeah,
one with the
Keon
trade
Coleman,
back.
and then in the trade you traded with the Niners for it looked like a next second, a current second, a next second, and a next third.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you got
along with 31.
yeah, and then you got Braylon Trice, who I like from Washington. I think he's a very good situational pass rusher. I think he'd be good to bring it on third down and rush the passer. My one with the trade, let me see, let me find mine. I got one more. Oh, fudge.
Yeah, I just think San Francisco, for anybody who's looking to trade back, would be a good partner to trade back with because they have a plethora of picks because of all the comp picks that they got.
I don't
Um,
think they're gonna go that far back.
I
I
don't think
I I
so either,
I don't think the
but
Bears. I think they'll be fine to go back to like maybe 15 tops. I think they're not going to go any farther back than where they can't get Verse, Turner, or the kid from UCLA.
well, I also like Newton out of Illinois.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. He's pretty
Yeah,
decent.
but he play. I mean, he's a defensive tackle, but
He's like a pass
at
rusher. He's like
at
a
15, 15 to 18, he would be a pretty good fit. And then
yeah.
also, I know Sweat from Texas has, his stock has dropped because of some off the field issues. If you can find him, if he's available at 75, I
Yes,
think
I
you
take
take a
him.
chance
Yes.
and you pick him up because I think he's going to be a monster. Just
Yeah.
my opinion.
And Jalen Carter was pretty good. I don't know. I think Jalen Carter playing well will people won't be so afraid to take somebody with a little bit of off the field stuff. I mean, a lot of these guys got I mean, I'm not saying like legal troubles, but they're diva like neighbors. There's stuff coming out about neighbors who's a handful on campus and he's kind of a diva and does his own thing, hard to wrangle in. That was one thing I was glad to hear about Caleb. Out of all this, it just seems like he's a football kid. Um,
Well, yeah, and there was another thing that came out, another story about him too, where um there it was something about like the football team all got together or something like that, and one of the kids was on scholarship and he couldn't or wasn't on scholarship and he couldn't afford his own lunches. So Caleb was essentially paying for one of his teammates' lunches and his food throughout his entire
I mean,
tenure while
that's
he was
not too abnormal. I mean, a lot of these kids with
no, but
NILs have been
it
doing
still
that. But
speaks
yes,
it's
he's a team guy. Everyone's
as a
saying nice stuff
teammate.
about him. Um, I didn't necessarily ever thought he was a bad teammate. I just always like said it gave me diva vibes, and I with his team shit and you know what I mean. He's got a whole marketing PI thing, but I guess with the NIL, that's just the new wave. So, um, but he just seems no nonsense. He seems like a football guy, and that's what I want. I think that's what we loved about Justin. Poor player, not. He was in the lab. He was always working. He always gave it looked like at least 100%, and he was always invested. And that's what I want. Somebody who's invested and not worried about their next contract or their deal with Nike or any of that shit. Because if you want to be great, and that's what he says, you want the 8 Super Bowls, you got to do Tom Brady shit, Patrick Mahomes shit. These guys take pay cuts. They sit in the house. They're not out getting in trouble. They're not in the spotlight. They play football.
Isn't it ironic and kind of fucked up that the people are most the two teams, really the three teams that people are most excited about in Chicago in terms of future are the Bears, the Blackhawks, and the fucking Sky.
I don't know if anybody's excited about this guy. I think
Well,
I was having this debate with somebody like college basketball was just like the biggest it ever was, and it was like nobody cared about WNBA. And
no, they do
unless
now.
I think they will for a season. If Caitlin Clark doesn't come out hitting Steph threes and scoring 30 a night, people aren't going to care. Because that was the only reason they cared and when she was there. And I think that's
Yeah,
going to be
I mean,
tough for her. I
for the
think that's
first
going to
season,
be
it'll be
tough
good.
for her because she's going to be a rookie and there's a lot of veterans. And one thing about women, they hold grudges a lot worse than men do. And those girls aren't going to be out there they're not going to be wanting to get shown up by Caitlin on a nightly basis. So she's going to be getting the fucking Super Bowl champ treatment every week as a rookie. So that's going to be tough. And those girls in the WNBA are good. They're a lot better than the college kids. So we will see. I don't think it's going to change much because um, real sports fans don't want to watch girls basketball. I mean, no offense to the girls, and I watched the Final Four and all that shit because it was more of a cultural event and everybody was watching. So it was like I mean, we're all the states were watching together. But I don't envision next year I'll be watching the girls Final Four. I don't. I don't think they're gonna. They did record breaking numbers. I think the LSU um Iowa game was like the biggest game on ESPN ever. I'm pretty sure, like the viewing numbers. A basketball game, um, which is impressive. And I mean, the world was watching, but I don't see it. In the sky, I got Angel Reese and all that, and it should be fun. But no offense to the girls, but I can walk across the street to the high school and see a game that's as competitive as that shit. So
Yeah, and then we'll get their asses beat in the play-in again.
the
Um,
Bulls,
it,
the Bulls did the most Bulls thing. They win the game in ATL. Then Jimmy Butler gets hurt. We got a chance to coast into the playoffs. I mean, to get trounced by the Celtics, but to make some more money for the team. You know what I mean? And it's just like 4 more games. The guys improve themselves, and they go out there and lay an egg against the fucking Heat with no Jimmy Butler.
yep, AK said he takes responsibility and blah blah blah. I don't believe this shit until I see it. We've been saying this for the last 2 3 years now, and it's the fucking same, dude. It's the same shit. We're gonna have the same fucking off season. We're gonna
Well, there's no
run
moves
it
to
back
make.
with the same fucking players. It's just
Zach
I'm
Levine. Nobody wants
so
Zach Levine. They can't let DeMar just leave for nothing. Um,
he's a free agent, I think.
I know, but they're gonna make. I think I've just read they made him an offer 40. I think 40 a year for 2 years.
I I I
I
don't
mean, they really
know.
have no choice. I don't think DeMar's the problem. I think they need to just go ahead and tank. But
It's
the Bulls
so
don't work
bad.
like that. Like the Bulls are stuck in the curse of we're going to be a playing team and at the back end of the lottery and never draft a player who's good enough to get us out of this misfortune. They
The
don't really
White
have the
Sox are
assets to move.
3-17. I'm
The
so
White Sox are
done.
god awful. Yeah,
Oh my
Cubs have been pretty
god,
good.
dude.
Blackhawks are rebuilding. Like I said, I guess we've got to look forward to the Sky, but I'm just being realistic. I'm not watching any Sky games. Um,
I didn't even watch the Sky when they won the title.
yes, and again, it's not. I don't like girls basketball.
And
Like,
we had Candace Parker.
yeah, my hometown kid, and she's great. I think all those girls are great. They'll kick my ass 1-on-1, but so will fucking Division 3 college players. I don't watch any of their fucking games either. So so they just need to figure. I don't know if they need to bring the rim down lower or what, but it's just I don't know. We want to watch the best of the best play, and the best girls aren't the best of the best. That's just. I would love to see that guy who made that bet where he said he'd take any high school championship basketball team and they'd play against the WNBA champion. He bet $1 million. Um, I'm surprised that didn't happen yet. I mean, I'm guessing. I don't know. I
They
guess if you
don't
got like
want
this,
that to happen.
yes, I think for society's sake it can't happen because I think it would set feminism back like 25 years. But it's just reality. But I don't know. Maybe you get like the state champs of Wyoming or something. Maybe they so. But like I guess any major city, they're fucking slapping the girls. Um, but we'll see. I wish them best. I hope they do better. It's not my thing, but I think the people who are complaining about the fucking low pay should buy the league pass, go to a game, buy a jersey.
Support them. Like
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
like
gonna sit there,
I support
I
my teams. Like
half the people more I would say more than half the people that sit there and complain about the pay gap or whatever don't
never been to a
buy
game
tickets,
ever.
don't buy merchandise, don't you know what I'm saying? They don't do any of that
You know,
shit.
watching it.
And
It's like yeah, you got to start somewhere, and it's like you can't like. I feel like people are mad that they're like, oh, well, you like the NBA. Why don't you just watch WNBA games too? Like, oh, well, I'm a grown man I don't got enough time to watch every fucking game that comes on. So I'm gonna watch the ones that entertain me. Like, not the ones that don't. And again, I know disrespect, but like I'm not watching hockey on a regular basis. I'm not watching tennis. I'm not watching fucking golf unless it's Tiger. Like that's just what it is. Like the people you got to support the stuff you like instead of. And it's like if all these ladies who are complaining just went to one game a year, bought one jersey a year, the WNBA would be in such a better place. But they waste all their energy complaining about us not watching the game that we didn't want to
Yeah.
watch in the first place. Like, um, but all right, gave our little mocks. We'll do. I think. Would you say you wanted to do a video the night of the draft? We'll do one right
Yes.
after.
Yep.
We'll
Well,
do
I mean,
something. Break down
we
the
could.
draft, the biggest draft in Chicago Bears history, maybe. I guess the last biggest one was what Gale Sayers and what was it Buckus? Or was it
Yeah.
the same draft? Something like that's gonna happen. Hopefully, we get Caleb and another game changer. Um, we've already loaded up with any quarterback. We should have been fine to make the playoffs, but now we're getting somebody who is graded higher than John Elway and Trevor Lawrence, and that part. I just don't see. I don't understand how like I was a big Trevor Lawrence guy. I thought he was going to be the next, and he's pretty good. He stepped in on a mediocre team and been a, I guess, top 10-ish quarterback. So that's what I'm expecting from Caleb, and that's what I want to see, and I'm really excited for the season to
Yeah,
start.
I'm hoping this draft really sets the franchise forward for the next 10, 15 years. We've been talking about this being Ryan Poles' legacy draft, and it is. This is Ryan Poles' legacy. His legacy is on the line. It's either going to set the franchise forward or it's going to set the franchise back. So we'll see, especially if things happen where Justin Fields goes to Pittsburgh and absolutely balls out, then you're really fucked.
Yeah,
So you really need to be right. You really need to, hit on this pick, and you need to hit on the draft in general. I mean, I know the draft is 50-50, less than 50-50, really. But maybe Caleb can turn that stigma about number one overall picks around, and we can go from there.
yeah. I guess I was the one leading that push, but the stigma is they don't win, but they're all pretty good. Like I guess 4,000 yards wise, like they all just, I guess, unlike Caleb, were drafted to the worst team in the league, and it just didn't work out. But like with Cam Newton, Matt Stafford,
Well,
um,
that's what I've been saying too, is that this is a situation that a number one overall pick has never been in before, to where it's not the team who, statistically, standings wise, owns the number one overall pick. They're not the worst team in the league record wise. So this is a different kind of,
yes,
thing for a number one overall pick to go into. And we're going to see how it works out. Ryan Poles made a great trade. We'll see if it pans out.
yes, sir. All right, adios, guys. Like, follow, subscribe. Another short one. We're gonna try to keep them short in the off season. Just like I said, we
Well,
keep.
yeah, on Thursday,
No,
mind
that one
you,
won't be no.
yeah, that
But
one will be 3 hours long. That's realistically that's what it's going to be. We're going to be watching the draft, recording at the same time, and just doing live reaction to the
yeah,
whole first round of the draft. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm okay with that. I'm going to have fun with it. We'll have some fun with it. Maybe we'll do some stupid shit. I don't know. I'll paint my nails and I'll write Caleb on my
Super
nails.
Bears Super Bowl. But all
Yeah,
right, like
so
I
we'll
said,
do
like,
something.
follow, subscribe, please comment, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys day after the draft. Adios.
Adios.